Hey there, welcome to the Alexa Z Show, because life should be fun and meditation should be easy. Before we get engrossed in today's engrossing episode, let me give you a moment to hit subscribe. I know you want to do it, and like me, you often forget. You wake up in the middle of the night and say, damn, I forgot to hit subscribe for that nice lady who's really trying to motivate me. So here you go. Do 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 do. Thank you. So in today's episode, I'm going to shed some light on who am I? Or maybe I should say, who are you? We're now starting the second full week of 2020. Can't believe it. The gyms are packed, and I am still not even sick of salad with protein every day yet. I'll give it a few more weeks. It's usually around the end of the month that people start saying to me, gosh, I was so excited for this year. I was going to change my whole life. I had all these plans, and now I don't really even know what I want to change, or there's so much I want to change, I'm completely overwhelmed. I hope this episode gets out fast enough that you can skip that question by spending a little more time looking inwards at who you are, but in a very straightforward fashion. No fancy spreadsheets, no in-depth discussions, just the simple practice of asking. Whenever somebody says, I want to change my life, I always ask them first, who are they? They immediately get confused and start thinking, worried they're not going to come up with the right answer. Then they get really disappointed because they never can come up with an answer. Well, I'm here to tell you, do not worry. Remember, the answers lie within. I know you want to tell me to bugger off, but right now I'm going to ask you, just give me a few minutes and hold tight. I'm going to give you an exercise that might make the rest of your year easy peasy. A show for those who want to meditate or maybe tried, loved it one day, hated it the next, or maybe forgot why the heck they're supposed to do it anyway. Well, you landed on the right show. Do you still find yourself wishing you had more time, waking up tired, wanting to take back what you just said to your boss? Seriously, don't you just want to spend a peaceful, productive day with time left to learn the guitar and start that $1 million side hustle? Follow me at alexazmeditates.com/podcast and let's make it happen. Hey there, Alexa Z here. I am all alone in my closet recording because my Tatermobile is winter cold. I made this little house underneath my staircase in the basement. I thought I was incredibly brilliant. I nailed up all these blankets. I used this beautiful fake fur blanket from the West on my table. It looks like I'm sitting in a little bear's den. And as soon as I did it, the dog started running up and down the stairs. The furnace kicked on. It's right to the adjoining wall, and I didn't quite think that through. So now I am sitting here all alone without the furnace on to make noise, and that means I'm cold again, like not as bad as my van, though. And there are 4 dogs locked in my bedroom, 3 floors up. Okay, I know I'm digressing, but I always wondered where people sat and did their podcast. Did they have all fancy studios they went to? And the answer is no, in case you were wondering. We often are in our clothes closets too, but I get really distracted by all my stuff. Okay, where was I? Oh yes, who am I? Who am I is actually considered a self-inquiry meditation. It's a practice that is older than dirt. It's not about analyzing your childhood or looking at a magic 8-ball. It's a questioning meditation, and it really fits beautifully into other practices, or they can be used all by themselves. So I call myself a meditation coach, and I don't even like that word, but the reason I say that is meditation needs to fit into your specific life, right? It's the time of the day you do it, why you do it, whatever it is, it's very, very personal. And the coaching aspect of it is kind of like how it plays out in your life. So at this time of the year, when we're trying to make all these changes in our lives, possibly, or enhance our lives, or add things into our life or subtract things, it gets a little overwhelming. And if nothing else, I like to see people as successful as possible. And I find that this practice is a really nice way of kind of saying, I'm going to just slow down a little bit. I'm not going to rush to decisions. I'm not going to make any major changes. First thing I'm going to do is sit down and kind of get quiet and really figure out, who am I? Like, how does it feel to be me? And then how does it feel to be an even better edition of me? So before you start looking to change things in your life, you need to get in touch with that most important person. And yes, that is you. The brilliant part of you, you need to get in touch with it. That part that is filled with wisdom and intellect, passion and intuition. But more often than not, the old insight phone, it is ringing off the hook. We're so busy, we don't hear it. We tend to forget how awesome we are, and this type of questioning or inquiry meditation is the perfect way to train your brain. Remember, meditation is a training, but it's the perfect way to quiet down and connect with the thinker of the thoughts. Yes, that's you. Now, this is fun, but you can't get too hung up on analyzing it. The Buddha said, I'm not getting up from the Bodhi tree until I know who I am. Maybe he didn't say it with that inflection, but that's about what it is. So I don't expect you to sit under a Bodhi tree till you figure it out. Let's just start with a nice, simple, short practice. Some people think this meditation is very adventurous and very difficult. I like to keep everything simple. Now, normally, there are a few questions we use within the self-inquiry practice. Not going to get into that today. We're just going to use the one question, who am I? When I teach the method that I teach, which is called SEED, Simple, Easy, Everyday Meditation, I usually introduce this about halfway through the class. But I just felt like January, second week, New Year, 2020, it's a really good time to give it a try. So first I'm going to just explain to you how to do it. You can do it on your own when you finish this short podcast, or come back to review it or print out the show notes. But if you already have a practice, maybe just for today, just put it aside a little bit and do your normal thing. Find a nice comfortable seat, wherever, feet on the floor, hands in your lap, whatever's good for you. Close your eyes. And then what I want you to do is start however you do your practice. I do mine with a couple of nice deep breaths, kind of getting my body ready to relax. Then I do a short body scan, maybe starting at the top of your head all the way down to your toes, or maybe the toes to the top of your head. I always, always, always sit proud like a mountain. And the nice thing is when you've got that nice dignified kind of mountain-like pose, it is stable, it is soft in the sense that it's not hard to keep that dignified posture. But as you sit, I'm doing it right now, as I kind of sit like a mountain, it tends to make my chest expand a little bit as my spine gets longer, and I feel open. I feel like my heart is kind of shining. And since I'm doing this all by myself, it can feel a little awkward, but I'm by myself, so it's all good. So I do my little body scan, start with a little bit of a breath practice. And then as I start to relax and settle in, I ask myself silently, who am I? Who am I? I ask it a few times, and then I sit in the silence of that unanswered question. People ask me, should I repeat it over and over again, like who am I, who am I, who am I, like a mantra? No. Nope. The practice is just sitting in the silence, sitting in the comfort of you, really sitting there. Just like any other meditation, thoughts are going to disrupt you. Sounds are going to disrupt you. That's your human mind. Embrace it. Embrace it just as you're going to embrace changes you want to make in your life. You sit, you say, who am I? You sit quietly, you go back to your breath, and feel comfort because I am giving you a project of which you do not have to find the answer. Because what happens is the more you practice and train your brain to sit comfortably in the quiet, the more you will hear that insight phone ringing. People have a very difficult time sitting in quiet, much less sitting in quiet and sitting still. And as I've talked about in the past, meditation is all about the training of the mind wandering and bringing it back. I met somebody the other night, it probably happens 10 times a week, and they say to me, oh my gosh, the other day I was reading a book or an app or whatever they had, and I want to learn to meditate, And they told me that each time my mind wanders, all I have to do is notice it and then come back to my meditation. And it's okay. And I'm like, wow, really? Imagine that. I'm sorry. No sarcasm. That's exactly right. The practice is the mind wandering and bringing it back. That's the practice of training your brain. As your body calms, your mind becomes active. That's perfect. You're doing it right. You're absolutely doing it right. Just don't try too hard. It's all good. So today, take this practice, give it a try. Before you start writing out all the changes you want to make, before you start painting that palette, all the colors you want to put on it, spend some time just saying, who am I? Go back to your breath, go back to the silence, see what happens. I don't need you to expect anything to happen. Just see how you feel at the end. And see how you feel after doing it for a few days. Insert it into your current practice if you want. Do it as a standalone. And the fun part is, one day, you're going to be doing something, and this little feeling inside of you says the answer. Whatever it is. Maybe that answer is, I know who I am. Don't even need to explain it. And when you feel that, that comfort, that quiet, that confidence, then suddenly, here's the coaching part, you're ready for the next step. And maybe that next step is writing down a few questions. I'm not going to get into that now. Maybe we'll get into that for the next podcast. Matter of fact, that's a great idea. So this week, take a little time. Who am I? Listen for that insight phone, answer it, and truly, all the answers lie within. Give it a listen. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great second week of January. Keep up with your meditation habit. Go back to the last podcast if you want some tips on how to hang on to that habit. They're all nourishing. And I'll see you next week. Later, taters.